March 24, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA. New York Islanders goalie Robin Lehner, 40, makes a save against the Arizona Coyotes during the third period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Brad Penner, USA Today Sports. Brad Penner, Robin Lehner is going to help 7-year-old Jack Foley check the last box off his wish list. Jack's story went viral on Sunday when his mother Lauren shared a video on her Twitter account of Jack holding a checklist with "Survive 3 open heart surgeries" and "Defy the odds." The last item on the list is "Receive a stick from Robin Lehner. Hi Mr. Lehner, I'll be at tomorrow's game at the barn. Hopefully you'll see me and my poster and you'll help me complete my checklist. Thanks," Jack says in the video. According to Lauren Foley, Jack was born with half of a heart and had all 3 of his surgeries before he was 2 years old, after being born with literally only one half of a heart. Jack Foley is an amazing 7-year-old. Hogan, April 1, 2019, February 14, 2019, Columbus, Ohio, USA. The New York Islanders celebrate after defeating the Columbus Blue Jackets at Nationwide Arena. Mandatory credit. Aaron Doster, USA Today Sports. Aaron Doster. The most important piece of business for the Islanders was taken care of Saturday night when they punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now they look ahead to which seed they might get and who they might face when the first round starts next week. But even though there are just 3 games remaining in the NHL regular season entering their Monday night matchup against John Tavares and the Maple Leafs, the Isles can finish anywhere from first in the Metropolitan Division to the last wildcard spot. Let's take a look at all the playoff scenarios as the Islanders, who currently occupy the No. 2 spot in the Metro, prepare for the final week of the season. Metropolitan Division champions February 28, 2019, Brooklyn, NY, USA. Toronto Maple Leafs center John Tavares, 91, skates past a sign held by a fan of the New York Islanders during warm-ups before a game at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Brad Penner, USA Today Sports. Brad Penner, John Tavares could have reason to celebrate at Nassau Coliseum on Monday night. The former Islanders captain, who was mercilessly booed and taunted by fans in his return to the arena 4 weeks ago, can help the Maple Leafs clinch a playoff spot with a win against his former team. It would also come 9 months to the day Tavares spurned the Islanders to sign a 7-year, $77 million deal with Toronto. Isles look ahead to postseason. 0 hours 1 minute and 58 seconds. Islanders captain Anders Lee and GM Lou Lamoriello talk about making the playoffs and finishing the regular season strong. Count the boss as a happy camper this weekend. Islanders general manager Lou Lamoriello called the team's playoff berth clinched Saturday with a 5-2-1 win over the Sabres. Tremendous accomplishment, according to Andrew Gross of Newsday. It's certainly a tremendous accomplishment, coming from where we were at the beginning of the year, said the longtime executive who is in his first year with the Isles. March 3, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA. New York Islanders head coach Barry Trotz yells during the third period against the Philadelphia Flyers at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Dennis Schneidler, USA Today Sports. Dennis Schneidler. The Islanders are headed to the playoffs for the first time since 2016, and they'll be playing their first-round matchup against a to-be-determined opponent at the Coliseum. That's music to Islanders coach Barry Trotz's ears. In his first season with the Islanders, he's learned how valuable home ice can be at the Islanders' home on Long Island compared to the atmosphere at Barclays Center. It's got a great vibe, and I'm glad in the playoffs we'll play games here, Trotz told the New York Post. To me, it just feels right. March 30, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA. New York Islanders celebrate the goal by New York Islanders right wing Jordan Eberle, 7, against the Buffalo Sabres during the first period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Dennis Schneidler, USA Today Sports. Dennis Schneidler. The Islanders and their fans had every reason to revel in this moment. for this isn't some ho-hum achievement, not for a team which missed the playoffs for 2 seasons after winning a round in 2016 and saw its star player and captain John Tavares leave in free agency, leaving everybody wondering how the Isles would pick up the pieces. 9 months later, here the Islanders stand with an X next to their name in the standings, punching their ticket to the playoffs at the Coliseum Saturday night with a 5-1 win over a Sabres team which represented the ideal opponent to face in such a clinching scenario, a woeful club offering little resistance. This is the first time the Islanders have clinched a playoff spot in March since 1990, and it's their first time clinching a berth at home in 17 years. March 5, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA, New York Islanders center Brock Nelson, 29, celebrates his goal against the Ottawa Senators with teammates during the first period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. The New York Islanders needed just 33 seconds Thursday night to remove the desperation from Saturday night's penultimate home game and turn it into an opportunity to celebrate. The Islanders will look to cap one of the biggest surprise stories of the NHL season Saturday night, when they try to clinch a playoff berth against the visiting Buffalo Sabres at Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, NY. Both teams were off Friday following chaotic games Thursday. The Islanders came back from a pair of 2-goal deficits before Casey Cizikas tied the game with 1:46 remaining and Jordan Eberle scored the winning goal with 1:13 to go in a 5-4 win over the host Winnipeg Jets. The Sabres also overcame a pair of 2-goal deficits against the visiting Detroit Red Wings but could not get the go-ahead score and fell in overtime by the same 5-4 score. February 28, 2019, Brooklyn, NY, USA, New York Islanders fans celebrate a goal against the Toronto Maple Leafs during the second period at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. There could be a party-like atmosphere at Nassau Coliseum on Saturday night. Because the Islanders, who have far exceeded anybody's expectations this season, can clinch a playoff berth by defeating the Sabres on home ice as their magic number is down to 2. The Isles have missed the playoffs each of the last 2 seasons. Should the Capitals lose on the road against the NHL best Lightning on Saturday, the Islanders could also pull to within 1 point of the Metropolitan Division lead. The Islanders and Capitals meet in Washington for the final game of the regular season on April 6. March 28, 2019, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Can. New York Islanders center Matthew Barzal, 13, celebrates his goal on Winnipeg Jets goaltender Connor Hellebuyck, 37, in the first period at Bell MTS Place. Mandatory credit, James Carey Lauder. USA Today Sports. James Carey Lauder. The Islanders used a 3-goal rally in the third period, including 2 goals within 33 seconds with less than 2 minutes left to secure a huge 5-4 win in Winnipeg Thursday night. Now at 97 points and closer to clinching a playoff berth, the Isles overcame 3 separate 2-goal deficits. Casey Cizikas tied the game with 1:46 remaining for his 20th goal of the season, and Jordan Eberle, who scored twice in the third, netted the winner with 1:13 left. Robin Lehner stopped 33 of 37 shots. With a comeback win, the Islanders' magic number dropped to 2, meaning they can clinch a playoff berth Saturday night at the Coliseum. Greater than box score. First period, 13 WPG Adam Lowry, assists Brandon Tanave, Nathan Beaulieu 6-11 WPG Adam Lowry, assists Jacob Trouba, Brandon Tanave 10-19 NYI Matthew Barzal, assists Jordan Eberle. March 3, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA, New York Islanders head coach Barry Trotz yells during the third period against the Philadelphia Flyers at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit, Dennis Schneidler. USA Today Sports. Dennis Schneidler. The fight got a little tougher Tuesday night for the Islanders, 4-4, 2-6, 7, 95 points, who are all but assured of making the playoffs. They will enter Thursday 7 points ahead of the 9th-place Blue Jackets, but are in danger of losing home ice advantage in the first round, or falling into a wild-card spot. The third-place Islanders enter Thursday 3 points behind the first-place Washington Capitals in the Metropolitan Division. New York has the same number of points, 95, and regulation, overtime wins, 40, in the same number of games, 77, as the Pittsburgh Penguins, but the Penguins occupy second place by virtue of a better goal differential, plus 33 to plus 24. The Islanders lose in regulation and the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Capitals on Thursday. The Islanders lead over the Hurricanes. The first wild card would fall to just 2 points. Carolina also has a game in hand on New York. Russell LeBounty. After blanking the Coyotes on Sunday, the Islanders got a taste of their own medicine in a 4-0 shutout against the Blue Jackets on the road Tuesday night. Greater than box score first period, 5:43 CBJ Ryan Zingle, power play, assists, Zach Werenski, Boone Jenner March 24, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA, New York Islanders left wing Andrew Ladd, 16, takes a backhanded shot in front of Arizona Coyotes right wing Michael Grabner, 40, during the second period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Brad Penner USA Today Sports. Brad Penner, as the Islanders jockey for position in the standings and roll toward the playoffs, they'll have to do it without Andrew Ladd. The left-winger suffered a torn ACL and will have surgery this week, General Manager Lou Lamoriello said. "It's not good news, but it's part of the game," he said. January 22, 2017, Toronto, Ontario, Can. Toronto Maple Leafs General Manager Lou Lamoriello and New York Yankees General Manager Brian Cashman watched the Toronto Raptors play against the Phoenix Suns at Air Canada Centre. Mandatory credit. Tom Scherbowski USA Today Sports. Tom Scherbowski. With the college hockey season wrapping up, NHL teams are beginning to offer former NCAA players entry-level contracts. The Islanders made a splash in that space Tuesday when they signed former Boston University captain Bobo Carpenter to a 2-year, two-way deal. Carpenter finished a 4-year career for the Terriers last Friday. At Boo, the 22-year-old worked his way up from freshman contributor to captain for his senior season. The forward broke out in his junior season, as an assistant captain, with a team leading 20 goals and 35 points. In 2018-19, Carpenter played only 27 games while dealing with an injury that allowed him to score 10 goals and add 9 assists on the year. March 24, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA, New York Islanders goalie Robin Lehner, 40, makes a save against the Arizona Coyotes during the third period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Brad Penner USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. Robin Lehner is back in form, and his upturn is coming at the perfect time for the Islanders. There was a palpable sense of dread from Islanders fans after the team was shut out in consecutive games last week against Boston and Montreal while giving up 9 goals across the 2 losses. Though this surprising campaign has allowed for dreams of a playoff run, despite Lou Lamoriello standing pat at the trade deadline, suddenly there was worry that the Isles would limp into the postseason before crashing and burning in the first round. The Islanders desperately needed a big weekend with a back-to-back on tap, and Lehner helped them pull off 2 victories by making 22 saves in Saturday's 4-2 win in Philadelphia before notching a 31-save shutout on Sunday against the Coyotes. March 24, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA, New York Islanders right wing Jordan Eberle, 7, celebrates with teammates after scoring a goal against Arizona Coyotes goalie Darcy Kuemper, 35, during the first period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Brad Penner USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. There wasn't a ton of offense in this one, and for the Islanders, there didn't need to be in order to escape on the right side of the result. The Isles, behind Jordan Eberle's first-period goal, shut out the Coyotes, 2-0, on Sunday. Brock Nelson added an insurance goal late in the third, and goaltender Robin Lehner stonewalled Arizona for 60 minutes, stopping all 31 shots he faced. The Islanders kept pace with the Capitals, who also won Sunday and remain 1 point ahead for first place in the Metropolitan Division. Greater than box score first period, December 28, 2018, Brooklyn, NY, USA, New York Islanders center Matthew Barzal, 13, celebrates his go-ahead goal against the Ottawa Senators during the third period at Barclays Center. Mandatory credit. Brad Penner, USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. The New York Islanders opened a pivotal weekend back-to-back set Saturday by steadying themselves in the race for the Metropolitan Division crown. The Arizona Coyotes' playoff hopes may rest on being able to salvage one win in their own back-to-back set Sunday. The Islanders and Coyotes will each complete a busy weekend Sunday, when New York hosts Arizona in an afternoon game with playoff implications in both conferences at Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, NY. March 23, 2019, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. New York Islanders center Brock Nelson, 29, celebrates with teammates after scoring during the first period against the Philadelphia Flyers at Wells Fargo Center. Mandatory credit. Bill Stryker, USA Today Sports. Bill Stryker. The Islanders' offense finally broke through after being shut out in their previous two games. Josh Bailey scored twice and Brock Nelson picked up 2 points as the Islanders topped the Flyers in a 4-2 victory on Saturday at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. The win puts the Islanders just 1 point behind the Washington Capitals for the top of the Metropolitan Division with 7 games remaining. Greater than box score. First period, 6:39. Robert Hagg. Assists, Rod Gogudas. Ryan Hartman. 14:27. NYI. Brock Nelson. Assists, Scott Mayfield. Devon Taves. March 21, 2019, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. New York Islanders goalie Robin Lehner, 40, replaces teammate Thomas Greiss, 1, during the second period of the game against the Montreal Canadiens at the Bell Center. Mandatory credit. Eric Bolt, USA Today Sports. Eric Bolt. Over the last 2 games, the Islanders haven't played like a team that's worthy of winning a division crown. They were shut out for the second consecutive game Thursday, losing in Montreal 4-0, and remain 3 points behind Washington as both teams now have 8 games remaining. Thomas Greiss was pulled at 8:19 of the second period after allowing 4 goals on 22 shots. Robin Lehner stopped all 12 shots he faced in relief while Carey Price stopped all 28 of the Islanders' shots. According to the New York Post, the Islanders were shut out in consecutive games for the first time since November 19-21, 2011. The Isles' power play struggles continued as they went 0 for 3 on the man advantage. Greater than box score. March 3, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA. New York Islanders head coach Barry Trotz yells during the third period against the Philadelphia Flyers at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Dennis Schneider, USA Today Sports. Dennis Schneider, coming off arguably their worst loss of the season, the New York Islanders will face another tough challenge when they visit the playoff-hungry Montreal Canadiens on Thursday. The Islanders, 4-2, 2-4, 91 points, were shut out on home ice on Tuesday, suffering a 5-0 loss to the Bruins. New York managed only a season-low 13 shots in the game. The defeat dropped New York 2 points behind the Capitals for first place in the Metropolitan Division, and also narrowed the gap between the Islanders and the Penguins, 89 points, Hurricanes, 87, and Blue Jackets, 84. March 7, 2019, Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. New York Islanders center Valtteri Filppula, 51, prepares for a face-off in the first period against the Ottawa Senators at the Canadian Tire Centre. Mandatory credit. Marc Desrosiers, USA Today Sports. Marc Desrosiers. The Islanders' depth at center will be tested as Valtteri Filppula will miss the next 4 weeks with an upper body injury, the Islanders announced Wednesday, on Filppula's 35th birthday. Filppula was injured during the first period of Tuesday's loss and did not return. The 4-week timetable means Filppula will miss the start of the playoffs, and possibly the entire first round. The veteran has 15 goals and 14 assists in 71 games this season after signing a 1-year, $2.75 million deal with the Isles. March 19, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA. Boston Bruins center Sean Kuraly, 52, celebrates with teammates after scoring a goal against New York Islanders goalie Robin Lehner, 40, during the second period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit. Brad Penner, USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. The Islanders couldn't handle the Bruins on their home ice, as they started hot and couldn't be stopped. New York was shut out by Boston, 5-0, on Tuesday night. Greater than box score first period, 112 boss Sean Corelli, assists, Charlie McAvoy. New York Islanders goaltender Thomas Greiss is congratulated by his teammates after the Islanders defeated the Minnesota Wild 3-2 in overtime at XL Energy Center. Did birding, USA Today Sports. Brock Nelson scored the game-winning goal 104 in overtime to give the Islanders a 3-2 victory over the Minnesota Wild on Sunday at XL Energy Center. Greater than box score first period, 9:28 NYI. Jordan Eberle, assist, Matthew Barzal. March 16, 2019, Detroit, Michigan, USA. New York Islanders goaltender Thomas Greiss reacts after a goal by Detroit Red Wings center Andreas Athanasiou, not pictured during the second period at Little Caesars Arena. Mandatory credit, Rajmeta. USA Today Sports. Rajmeta. The Islanders failed to capitalize on an opportunity to move within a tie of the Washington Capitals for first place in the Metropolitan Division in a TKT loss to the lowly Detroit Red Wings on Saturday. Anders Lee had the lone goal for the Islanders as Andreas Athanasiou scored twice to lead Detroit to victory. Greater than box score first period, 2:59. Andreas Athanasiou, assists, Danny DeKeyser. 10:18 NYI. Anders Lee, assists, Brock Neslin. Devon Taves. New York Islanders defenseman Johnny Boychuk celebrates his goal. Sergei Belsky, USA Today Sports. The New York Islanders displayed their formula for making the playoffs during their past two games. They recorded a 2-0 shutout against Columbus on Monday, then edged Montreal 2-1 on Thursday. Not only did they improve their postseason prospects with those low-scoring victories, they also moved without striking distance of the Washington Capitals led in the Metropolitan Division. March 14, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA. Montreal Canadiens right wing Brendan Gallagher, 11, skates away as the New York Islanders celebrate a goal during the second period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit, Andy Marlin. USA Today Sports. Andy Marlin. Anders Lee scored with 2:57 left to give the Islanders a 2-1 victory over the Canadiens Thursday night. Matthew Barzal set up the winner by stealing the puck in the Isle zone and feeding Lee on a 2-on-1. Thomas Greiss made 33 saves as the Isles earned their fourth win in the last 5 games. Greater than box score first period, March 7, 2019, Ottawa, Ontario, Can. New York Islanders goalie Thomas Greiss, makes a save in the second period against the Ottawa Senators at the Canadian Tire Centre. Mandatory credit, Marc Desrosiers. USA Today Sports. Marc Desrosiers. The New York Islanders and Montreal Canadiens both improved their precarious positions in the Eastern Conference playoff race with wins in their most recent games. But the work has just begun for the two teams, who will face off in another pivotal game Thursday night when New York hosts Montreal at Nassau Coliseum. Islanders, 4-0-2-2-7, 87 points, have been off since Monday, when they beat the visiting Columbus Blue Jackets, 2-0. The Canadiens, 3-7-2-6-7, 81, last played Tuesday, when they hosted and edged the Detroit Red Wings, 3-1. March 5, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA. Ottawa Senators left wing Brady Tkachuk, 7, is pushed over New York Islanders goalie Robin Lehner, 40, by New York Islanders center Brock Nelson, 29, during the third period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. Islanders goaltender Robin Lehner returned to practice Wednesday, 8 days after being bowled over by Ottawa's Brady Tkachuk. Lehner, who missed the last 3 games with an upper body injury, is a possibility to return to goal against the Canadiens Thursday night at the Coliseum, Barry Trotz told reporters. Trotz had to speak with Lehner and the training staff before making a decision. If Lehner doesn't return Thursday, he could return during the Islanders' weekend back-to-back at Detroit and Minnesota. New York Islanders left wing Anders Lee falls onto the ice while attempting a shot on goal against the Columbus Blue Jackets during the first period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Catalina Fragoso, USA Today Sports. Thomas Greiss recorded 33 saves in a shutout as the Islanders beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 2-0 on Monday at Nassau Coliseum. Greater than box score first period, 6-11 NYI Ryan Pula, assists, Cal Clutterbuck, Adam Pelech December 1, 2018, Uniondale, NY, USA, general view of the opening puck drop between the New York Islanders and the Columbus Blue Jackets during the first period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. The Islanders plan to have a new home in Belmont Park by the 2021-22 season, but there are some fears that the project to build a new arena is dragging. Islanders owner John Ledetsky insists. There is nothing to worry about, everything is moving forward on schedule, he told the Post during his team's 5-2 loss to the Flyers on Saturday. Trotz reacts to Boychuk hit 0 hours 0 minutes and 29 seconds. Jakub Voracek answered Boychuk's taunting with a questionable hit. Voracek will now have a hearing with the league. Trotz reacts to the hit. Johnny Boychuk made it perfectly clear he did not appreciate Jakub Voracek's whack to the head that sent the Islanders captain to the ice Saturday against the Flyers while skating off the rink. Boychuk seemingly had strong words for Voracek, letting him know what he thought of the hit. But after the game, Voracek fired back and called out Boychuk's rant toward him following the play. "It's a tough hit," the Flyers assistant captain told reporters. "You know, he's getting off the ice, he's pointing at me like it's a WrestleMania or something. Pointing at me like it's a WrestleMania. Come on, it's a hockey game." Matthew Barzal collected his 100th career assist in this one, but the Islanders couldn't hold off the Flyers in a 5-2 loss at the Coliseum. Greater than box score first period, 6:30 NYI Scott Mayfield, assists, Nick Leddy, Matthew Barzal 15-25 Ryan Hartman, assists, Ivan Provorov, Shane Gostisbehere 1956 James Van Riemsdyk, assists, Jakub Voracek, Travis Sanheim, March 3. 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA, Philadelphia Flyers center Scott Laughton, 21, skates with the puck against New York Islanders defenseman Nick Leddy, 2, during the first period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit, Dennis Schneidler USA Today Sports. Dennis Schneidler. The Islanders are coming off a couple of ugly wins in consecutive victories over the NHL cellar-dwelling Ottawa Senators but aren't apologizing for it. After all, the Islanders needed those wins to keep in the fight for top spot in the Metropolitan Division, the latest a 4-2 decision in Ottawa on Thursday night. "We got 2 points and have to move on," head coach Barry Trotz said after his team's victory. "You have to look at the big picture. We've had some guys out, we've had all that, but when it's mattered, we've found ways to win," added Anthony Beauvillier, who scored the game-winning goal in Thursday's clash. Andy Marlin. Michael Dal Cole is sticking with the Islanders. After playing 2 games with the Isles as an emergency recall, the club announced Friday that Dal Cole is now a regular recall and will remain with the NHL squad. Josh Ho-Sang, who was also up on an emergency basis but didn't dress for either of the Islanders' wins against Ottawa, was returned to Bridgeport. March 5, 2019, Uniondale, NY, USA, New York Islanders center Brock Nelson, 29, celebrates his goal against the Ottawa Senators with teammates during the first period at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. This Islanders season has already been far better than anyone within or outside the organization could have imagined. In the wake of John Tavares' departure, the Isles have bought into Barry Trotz's style, and Lou Lamoriello's shrewd signing of Robin Lehner has paid major dividends. Lehner appears to be in a good place after battling substance addiction and a bipolar diagnosis, and he's been stellar on the ice as part of a goaltending duo with Thomas Greiss. Lamoriello made the controversial decision not to make any acquisitions at the NHL trade deadline, and it wasn't looking like a smart move when the Isles went through some recent stumbles.